it.
Yeah, yeah.
relatives, friends, and family and stuff. Thank you for doing it.
occupational cancer. Yes, to honor these men and pray for their families. Order. Okay, for the next part of the activities today, we're going into church. So if you follow us, we're going to go right into church hall. You ready? Come on up. We're going right into church. Yeah, well, they're going to church. Yeah. I'm deciding if we're coming the flags under the Boy Scouts. Number 9.
Yeah. We'll even just see a live photo.
Don't do live photos. This one, live photo. This one, too adult.
Let's get the
Oh my goodness, I can't even see it. Just so long. Just one
Good morning and welcome to our Memorial Day festivities. We appreciate all of your coming. It was a pretty nasty morning, but it turned out to be pretty nice out there. So on behalf of the Honorable Taylor Post 189 American Legion, we welcome you and we appreciate your attending. One thing we have to keep in mind, it is not only Memorial Day, but this year is our 250th birthday of the country. So we have two things to be thankful for this year. Okay, a couple of these notes come from National that we read, so bear with me. Again, our nation is assembled to honor its heroic dead. 1,000 battles of land, sea, and air echo the glory of their valiant deeds. Under the quiet sod or beneath the simmering waves, their bodies sleep in peace. When peril threatened and their country called, they left their path of peace, sprang to arms. No sorrow for the loved ones left behind could dim the purpose in their souls. No horror of the field or sea or air could beat their courage down. They fought for us they fell. Now, with one accord, in deepest reverence, we do them honor. All the world, because of what they gave, owes them. Let us stand in solemn memory as we salute our heroic dead. At this point, I'd like to ask our chaplain correction. Before that, I'd like to introduce our band. This is Youngman and our Youngman Band who played for us this year. We thank them for coming.
Yes, yep.
For the invocation, I'd like to ask our post chaplain, Mike here.
Hey, that's neat.
Let us pray. Almighty God of all victories, there for the opportunities which abide in our land, for their guidance in the hour of peril, and try the tender love in times of need. Help us remember with reverence the valor and devotion of our separated, departed comrades, not only those whose bodies consecrate our country's soil, but also those who sleep beyond the seas, and those others whose resting place is not well known, until the last day when the deep will give up its dead. O God, teach us to honor them by every cherished and ideas for which they fought. Keep us steadfast in the cause of human rights and liberties, of law and order and truth. Americanism. Give us the power to see the will to do right. Grant that the American Legion may preserve the high ideals for which our comrades died. May the mercifully blessing rest upon those left behind. Keep us forever formed, righteous, humble at heart, and unselfish in purpose. Amen.
Every year on the last Monday of May, Americans honor the brave men and women who gave their lives in service to our nation. Memorial Day is a solemn testament to valor marked by ceremonies, parades, and moments of reflection. It is a time to ensure that the sacrifices of the fallen are remembered. Originally known as Decoration Day, Memorial Day began with an idea from General John Logan to honor the fallen soldiers of the Civil War. First celebration was held May 30th, 1868 at Arlington National Cemetery. It wasn't until after World War I that Decoration Day was expanded to honor all veterans of all services who died in any American war. Decoration Day became officially known as Memorial Day, and Congress passed an act declaring it a national holiday in 1971. So there's a little history for you. Before we move on to another band selection, I'd like to thank the police and fire department. They're here every year for us. We appreciate that. In case you have to skip out, thank you all for showing up today. Much appreciated. Thanks. It's been our tradition every year to contact the school system and ask the principal to give us the name of a young female or male student that are willing to speak or read the Gettysburg Address. Unfortunately, the individual this year was unable to attend this, and I was notified over the weekend that they would not be able to show up. So a little bit of scrambling and a little bit of begging, and I was fortunate to find a 7th grader who is willing to read the Gettysburg Address for us today. So I'd like to ask up Isla Tamion.
Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation, so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, whose struggles here have consecrated it, far above our poor power to add and detract. The world will little know, nor long remember what we say here, but we can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who have fought here have thus so far nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that for these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause which they gave their last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from this earth. Abraham Lincoln, November 19, 1863.
I'd like to, at this time, introduce our first speaker, Chair of our Select Board in Sterling, Maureen Cranston.
Thanks, Ed. And thank you all for being here. And actually, first I would like to thank Ed and the Legion for putting this together and continuing this tradition in Sterling. And along with Ed, I thank our police and fire, as well as our DPW, for all of the contributions they make to this particular day. And on that note, I'd like to see you all skip. Ed said if you had to skip out, I'd like to see it. Start anytime. Not you. And also, I wanted to mention that we see this little lady with white hair running around with a handful of copies. Feel free to throw a buck in her basket so that I can get a free copy for you, sure. Always good. As a child, Memorial Day was an amazing tradition for myself and my family. And some of you will remember it was a tradition of decorating bikes, carriages. Everybody would march. The Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts, Brownies, you name it, league teams, etc. Everybody would get together on Memorial Day, visit all the different cemeteries along with their veterans. I'm not sure at the time that we understood the meaning of Memorial Day. As we grow older, hopefully we listen to the history that Ed has shared with us and this young lady has put forward and embrace it. As we got older too, our siblings and our relatives left their families, and we came to understand eventually what an amazing sacrifice and choice they were making. We watched our moms, dads, and grandparents worry as they prayed for safe returns for all of our soldiers, no matter what line of military they were in. 10 years ago, my heart was broken. I lost my son. I was lucky. I did not lose him to boots on the ground. I was very fortunate. I got to hold his hand. I got to love him through his own personal war with cancer. I was fortunate. Too many have lost their sons, their husbands, their wives, their daughters, in places we rarely heard of, as they went to defend our freedoms, which we celebrate today. For example, this was just shared to me by some of my, what some people would call in-laws, my mother-in-law would say family. It is with deep regret that we confirm the telegram of recent date informing you of your brother's death. Private First Class 10th Gun Green, Quartermaster Corps, the official casualty reports that your brother died January 29, 1945, on Leyte Island in the Philippines. Kenneth was my mother-in-law's brother. Today we gather and honor people like Kenneth and so many other of our heroes. We pause and reflect on your sacrifices that enable us to gather not just here, but with our families later on. So as we fire up the grills, when we run out for those retail discounts, let's remember those who gave your all so we can have it all. Thank you.
Now, a familiar face to many of us around here, State Representative Megan Kilcoyne.
Thank you so much, Ed. Thank you to everybody for being here today. This is truly a wonderful tradition that the community comes together to honor those who have given the ultimate sacrifice for this nation. And I'm also so grateful that we are able to all march in the parade. And thank you to everybody that stood out on the side of the road to watch the procession down the street. You know, as I was there with all of us at the various cemeteries in town, as we honored those that had fallen with taps, it is truly a moment that it almost is one of those moments where you can feel the presence of the weight of history of this very place on you. It was so quiet, and you felt the wind and the leaves rustling as you gazed out upon graves that some of which have been here since before this was even a nation. We stand, Ed mentioned earlier in his open remarks, we're at the 250th anniversary of this country, and there were soldiers that left this area, this community, but just before I believe it was even a town, to not just to defend liberty, but also to establish and give birth to this very nation of the United States of America. And throughout the 250 years of our country's founding, we have sent our sons and daughters to faraway places, some of which were in this very country, in the United States, all the way to opposite ends of the earth, where they were in a foreign place far, far from a home they may not have ever left before enlisting. It is difficult to think about how we can possibly honor the sacrifices that these young people made for us. They signed up to serve a country not knowing if they were ever going to come back, having faith that they were going to be led by people, by a nation whose goals was aligning with theirs, but had to trust their fellow soldiers and their fellow men and women that they were going to be able to serve and fight for this country together and hopefully come home. I cannot imagine the courage that must have taken, the courage to enlist, the courage to travel to a faraway place, to serve this country is something that many of us might not ever understand. But I think all of us can answer the call to try to give back a little bit to the community around us, to protect what our sons and daughters fought to keep safe, and to protect our freedom. Every year I'm always so grateful that we honor our first responders as well before we start the ceremony. They exemplify what it means to keep our communities safe, to make sure that each and every one of us can live in our homes with the security that we know that we have people to call if something were to go wrong. But some of us may not answer the call in that way. Maybe we physically can't, maybe there's other ways that we can find ways to give back to those communities. I see that the Boy Scouts are here and the Girl Scouts are here. Even people that are, even our children can figure out ways to give back our community. Some of you may even be doing Yahoo this year. I know I did that when I was a young person here, but any small way that we can give back to our community, I think, can help preserve what makes this country so great. And for all of us there today, there's other ways we can serve our community too. Maybe you can serve on a municipal board or a commissioner, or just try to help out a neighbor in need. Any little bit helps, and I think if all of us as a community can come together to help serve our town, serve our commonwealth, serve our country, we can in a small way try to pay back the ultimate sacrifice that those that gave everything. It will never be enough, but that's why I think all of us can take on that challenge each and every day and make sure that what those brave men and women died for is never taken for granted. Thank you so much.
Today's featured speaker, again, an individual that many of you have seen in our ceremonies before. So I'm going to read a short bio for Senator Peter Durand. State Senator Durand has been proudly representing the Worcester and Hampshire Senate District, including the beautiful town of Sterling, since 2023. He began his political career in local government in 1999, serving on the Spencer Finance Committee, and later being elected as a select board member in 2006. Senator Durand served as a state representative from the 6th Worcester District from 2011 until winning his seat in the Senate 3 years ago. He is a lifelong Spencer resident and continues to reside there with his wife Kate. He is an experienced businessman and a strong advocate of sportsmen and women and veterans. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Senator Peter.
I wasn't expecting about it. Thank you all for being here. And Ayla, you did a fantastic job. Short note. It is an honor to be here. 250 years ago, a group of men made a calculated bet that they would most likely lose. They signed their names on a document that, if it went badly, if things went badly, was a confession. And that confession was a hangable offense. Those brave men knew that they were risking everything, and some of them paid very dear price for it. But what they did was actually change the world. And we're here today because they were successful, and they won that bet. When they signed their names, it was beneath a sentence that changed the course of human history. And in part, that sentence said that all men are created equal, and they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. That wasn't just a statement of a philosophy. It was a challenge to a monarchy, the greatest power on the planet Earth. And every system that believed that rights were granted by rulers instead of by God. So we're here today because brave men stood at Lexington and Concord, and they didn't run. Because soldiers of the Continental Army crossed the Delaware in December, when the whole cause looked like it was pretty much finished. Because generation after generation of Americans decided that this experiment in self-governance was worth dying for. And then, sometimes they proved it. Memorial Day is not a day that we want to feel good. It's a day that we feel the weight of the bill that was passed and that was paid for on our behalf. That bill is long. It runs through places like Antietam, where more Americans died in a single day in a single battle than at any time before or since. It runs through the beaches of Normandy, frozen hills of Korea, the jungles of Vietnam, and places with names like Fallujah and Kandahar. It runs through names that are carved in stone walls and on monuments, and is memorialized by the folded flags handed to mothers who never expected that they would receive them. Every freedom that we exercise today, every argument we have about how this country should be run, it exists inside a space that was purchased and defended by people who are no longer here to have those arguments themselves. On a milestone anniversary like this one, there's a natural desire to tell America's story with pride and gratitude and celebration, and we should. It's a day for that. But Memorial Day reminds us that before we can celebrate our nation's birth, we must first honor the price of those who paid to preserve it. The long weekend, the cookouts that we might have later on today, because it's cleared up, the cookouts and the gatherings, they all have their place, but they must never crowd out the solemn truth at the center of this day. They died for a hard thing. They died for that proposition. The proposition that's still being tested, that free men can govern themselves. That this experiment in ordered liberty is something worth defending. 250 years in, and that experiment is still running. It's not guaranteed. It never was. Every generation has had to decide, sometimes on a battlefield, sometimes at a ballot box, whether or not we should keep it going. The people we remember today made their decision, and some of them made it in the last seconds of their lives. So today we remember them, and we remember them honestly. We remember what it actually cost. And we should ask ourselves whether what we're doing with our peace of this inheritance is worthy of the price that they paid for it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the only tribute that means anything. May God bless our veterans, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. Thank you.
So as we all know, today is Memorial Day, where we honor those who did not make it back. At the same time, I think it's important in the town of Sterling, since we're a small community, to recognize those individuals that serve. So I'd ask everyone that served in any of our branches to either raise their hand or stand up for a minute so we can recognize them. Anyone who served in Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, or Space Command, raise your hand or stand up. Okay. Thank you all. Go.
You guys, it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Try to keep it steady, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Can we just, pardon, to honor the, can we just play one more of the military since we, the man, you guys, please, the Coast Guard 25, sorry.
Okay, so what Joe does is, it seems like a lot of music in here, there is. He's honoring all the veterans every time he goes out there, so he
All the
plays
branches,
all the
yeah.
all
So,
branches.
thank you. Thank you, Ed. Ed, thank you for your service too.
It's in 6.
Okay, so we'll give him a minute to catch his breath. We're going to have the national anthem next. And if you've ever watched the flags on Memorial Day, the flags initially during the day are supposed to be moved from the top of the staff down to half staff in the morning. So all flags should have gone to half staff on Memorial Day. At noontime or during the ceremony, they are then raised back up to the top of the flagpole. So that is part of the Memorial Day ceremony. We obviously are not going to raise a flag. However, we have 2 flags in the room, one up here, and one of the Boy Scouts is going to hold one down there. So the next thing will be the national anthem. If you're in a uniform, please salute. If you're not, please remove your headgear. You feel covered. And next will be taps. Thank you once again to our police and fire department, to the scouts for coming, to the Legion folks for taking the time and effort today. AA Transportation provides a bus for us every year. We really appreciate that. Youngman Band always does a great job. Folks, I really appreciate that. And all of you that joined us today, thank you. It is much appreciated. Have a great afternoon.